I mean, your habitual failure to register. I've never seen a habitual failure to register. Your static 99 is 4, which is high.
Yes, sir.
So you violating sex offender while you're in jail. Because you got Facebook. Okay.
Well, that's not a good start to this parole hearing. Now, we actually covered him in 2023. The hearing was kind of uneventful. So instead of playing it back for you, the whole thing, what I'll do is I'll drop in snippets for you. I'll unpack it with what details I have at the end.
For parole consideration, Mr. Ryan McReynolds, DOC number 570517, who is a third felony offender who's been convicted of theft over 500, carnal knowledge of a juvenile, sex offender registration violations, habitual, racketeering, conspiracy to distribute heroin, conspiracy to distribute meth, possession of heroin, introduction of contraband into a correctional institution. And on May 11th, 16, November 8th, 17, April 13th, 18, and 6/15/21 was sentenced to serve 8 years hard labor, 8 years hard labor, 7 years hard labor, 10 years hard labor, 2 years hard labor in St. Tammany Parish and in Franklin Parish. Your parole eligibility date is March 14th of 2023. Your good time date is May 28th of 26, and your full term date is 9/15 of 27. Does that sound correct to you, Mr. Reynolds?
Not currently serving time on the carnal knowledge or the theft. That was a prior conviction before this one.
All right.
Yes, sir. I completed the sex offender registration. I'm no longer serving time on that either. I completed that in September.
So, okay, so you're not required to arrest your sex offender anymore?
Yes, sir. I'm still required, but I
Yeah.
finished the sentence for the non-registered. Finished it in
Right.
September.
How long you have to register for your sex offender?
15 years.
How long has it been?
About 13 years now.
I do note that. We'll note that. Okay, so it's your chance to tell us, what did you do to get you in trouble on those other remaining charges that aren't the prior charges? And why do you think today is why you think that you'd be a good candidate for release?
Well, I was released from prison in March of 2015. And when I came home, I made a wrong decision and got into the streets and started selling drugs. There's really no excuse for it. What I did was wrong. Last time I went up for parole, when I come in front of the board, they told me that the reason I didn't make it is they denied me drug treatment here due to I've never done drugs before.
What about any long-term substance abuse or any type of substance abuse? Sounds like you were a user and a dealer, huh?
No, sir. I've never used a drug in my life at all. I sold some drugs. I made some mistakes I shouldn't have. But no, sir, I never used drugs at all. So once I wrote to try to get into classes and they refused me. And when I come last time, when they noticed it, they talked about it and they agreed to do an override and to place me in the drug programs. And last time, Michelle Renat told me if I continue doing what I'm doing, she told me to continue welding, and she told me to go get at least one drug substance abuse class.
I agree with Mr. Kelsey, though. I think it would be beneficial to complete some of the programs, get into the substance abuse that the ward's going to help you get into. You have the opportunity to reapply for another hearing, but get some of that programs completions behind you, reapply, and I think you'll have a different outcome. You'll be better equipped.
And I completed welding. I got a job in the infirmary. I completed I completed NA 12 steps, living in balance. participated in a ongoing, I took victim awareness. And then after that, I went and was trying to become a mentor. So I took Tyro, Moral Compass, and CJI. I completed all those. I'm waiting on MDOC to send back my form to make me a mentor. And I also now am a facilitator for the Let's Move drug program, trying to help these other guys get on the same track that I'm on.
What specific substance abuse practice since the last hearing that we were talking about?
I took AANA 12 steps. I completed Living in Balance, and I participated in AANA ongoing.
Warden, do you have anything to add about Mr. McReynolds?
His disciplinary, his conduct record's good. He is working in the infirmary. He's been in there and helping out with the nursing unit and different things like that. So, as far as inside of here, I can't really say anything bad. It appears he's doing everything or has done everything that's been asked of him and it's headed in the right direction.
Why is he in medium custody?
Why isn't he?
Why is he? Our report shows him as medium custody.
Medium?
Yep, good institutional record, but he's medium custody.
Because of the sex offender.
Because of the sex offender?
The sex crime there is the reason he can't make trustee.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, boy.
All right. Today we have in support and wanting to speak Ms. Krista Borrell. Ms. Borrell, it's your turn.
Good morning, I'm Ryan's wife. I just wanted to come in, show that he has good family support at home. He has a good family support system. You know, we own our own house. He doesn't have to worry about landlords, anything like that. He's got a stable household, stable income. You know, I can manage all of that until he is able to find his groove. Liable transportation. I think that Ryan has utilized all resources that was available to him in the system. He has learned from those things, and I think that he's ready to take the next steps and come home.
Thank you. I see there's two other people in the room there. Are y'all supporters?
Yes, sir. I'm his father, and I feel like he has paid his debts to society and should come home.
And what's your name?
Scott McReynolds.
Okay. And the next lady?
I'm Ryan's grandmother, Nora McReynolds, and Ryan has, when he got out the last time he was out, I had a place for Ryan to stay with me, and they had approved me, they said, and then after they did, they said I lived too close to where the young girl was that he had sex with. It wasn't sex that was forced on her, it was consensual sex. But and she was young and he was young too. But he couldn't stay with me, and then his dad moved his trailer far enough away where he could go there, and he couldn't go there. And because it was too close again, and this went on. I had a place for 3 months that I kept calling his probation officer about him living there, because it was a friend of mine's apartment above with his brother. And this is when all this other stuff accumulated happened after that. And he would have been in a safe place for months, as long as he wanted to live there, because I've been helping his mother, the girl's house, that was giving him a place to live. I helped her mother and dad over and over again, and Ryan's always done everything in his power to help me, and I've never known Ryan to do drugs. I don't think he did the wrong thing by selling them, but anybody that you speak to will tell you Ryan has never ever done drugs, and he's always been a good grandson to me.
Thank you for letting us know all that. All right, we don't have any person here in opposition, but we do have strong opposition from law enforcement community. The judge in this case is opposed. 2 DAs in both parishes are opposed. The sheriffs of both parishes are opposed. Mr. Freeman, your case has been, this case been assigned to you, so go ahead and begin your interview.
Okay, first off, your fiance, is that residence been approved?
That's my wife. It should be approved. I put it onto the thing, and the last time I went up, they had approved the residents already, so I shouldn't see why they wouldn't approve it now. It was approved for the last hearing.
Last year, that's what I wanted to know. Why did you leave your brother's house?
I didn't live at my brother's house. I wound up living with a female, and really, there isn't no excuse for what I did. I was wrong and decided to.
I mean, your habitual failure to register. I've never seen a habitual failure to register. Your static 99 is 4, which is high, high, high.
I only have one failure to register. That was my first one I've ever got.
What's that?
The failure to register. That's the only failure. They just multi-billed me on it. They sentenced me as an habitual and multi-billed me on my first one. That's the only one I've ever had.
One dad, okay. Tell me about the 8/22/20 incident with the phone.
I was in Winsboro incarcerated and had a cell phone in order, to make it easier to call my family and stuff like that. And I shouldn't have had it. Got caught with it, and I took the 2 years.
Facebook accounts on there too, right?
Yes, sir.
Facebook account, you can't have that when you're in the free world because of your sex offender contract.
Yes, sir.
So you violating sex offender while you're in jail
Sir.
because you got Facebook. Okay. And also tell me about the aggravated battery on that other inmate. What's that about?
They dismissed the charge because it wasn't me. They had wound up coming in and they had got like 4 or 5 people, multiple people, and they charged us on aggravated battery for an incident. And once they reviewed the cameras, they wound up dropping the charge on me because it wasn't me.
Good. Okay. All right. You took substance abuse, even though it doesn't look like you have a substance abuse problem. That's all the questions I have, y'all.
Mr. Do you have a further question?
As a fourth felony offender, have you ever completed a period of supervision on the street?
This is my second time incarcerated. I did one conviction, and when I went home, that's whenever I caught the drug charge. I was only home 72 days, and they just charged me with multiple charges in different courtrooms. So it raised my offender class every time that I had to take, instead of putting it all in one thing, they put failure to register in one courtroom, and they put the drug charges in another one. So when I took it in different courtrooms, it changed my offender class. And then the cell phone was while being incarcerated.
I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any questions.
I got one last question. When you were in jail the previous time, did you take any sex offender classes?
Yes, sir. In 2011, I participated in the BETG program, and upon being released, they told me you still got to take the class. They said it don't matter. They say if you take it in jail, you don't have to, but once you're released, you got to participate in it anyway. So it was really, whenever I went up last time, they didn't tell me I needed it, and by me having to participate in it every week whenever I go home, I went ahead and focused on the other programs that really needed to be handled, and I could take that one on parole.
Yeah, I don't have any more.
Is the board ready to vote?
Yes, I'm ready to vote.
Go ahead.
Okay, You know, it concerns me about the Facebook on your cell phone while in prison, even on the streets, like I say, you could have been arrested for that. Law enforcement is strongly opposed. My vote today would be to deny. He gets out in 6/2/25 regardless.
Ms. Lindsay?
My vote is to deny. I have a problem when you're arrested while you're incarcerated. You know, it's a philosophical thing. If you can't obey the rules while you're in prison, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that you're going to obey the rules when you're out. And so my vote is to deny.
Mr. Reynolds, I concur with my colleagues. So today, your parole has been denied. This concludes our business with Mr. Reynolds today.
Okay, I can imagine that most of you want to know what really happened with his carnal knowledge charge. And the answer is I don't know the details, but I do know that he was 19 years old when he was charged with it. And, according to Louisiana legislation, this is what defines. So, carnal knowledge of a juvenile, also known as a criminal offense in Louisiana that defines consensual intercourse between an individual who is 17 years or older and another individual between the ages of 13 and 16. And the reason that it's between 13 and 16 is that you have to be 4 years older, right? 17, you have to be 4 years older to get at least 4 years older than the victim to get the charge. So at 19, the oldest she could have been was 15. And she could have been as young as 13. So he doesn't get a pass from me. It's not like this is no Romeo Juliet thing here, okay? But it also doesn't mean that he's a roach. It doesn't mean that he has, it's is he a risk of doing it again type of thing. It's not like the other cases that we see, I think. But I wonder if the tattoos worked against him. I know that there's look, you can't deny, but having a face tattoo is just not great. And this is just it's not a winning look. And it's interesting. We don't see a lot of this in Louisiana. From our Utah hearings, we see this all the time. We see that basically, hundreds of them where this is actually kind of on the lower end side. But it's interesting. It's interesting to someone who's never touched a narcotic in their life, but they seem to have made a lot of really bad choices. But he does have that family support, and he does have, it seems now, a wife and his fiance, and she was his fiance last year, and she showed up. She was there a year ago in support, and you saw they got that hug in there, and the warden was completely cool with it, which I don't know. How do you feel about that? I would have done the same thing if I were him. So love to hear your thoughts. Like, again, on the criminal aspect, should we go over that appeal a little bit? Thank you, Richard, for dropping it in there. It was just a big sting. I don't think I want to go through. There's a lot of addresses and stuff, but he was caught up in a big sting operation, and the DA of Montgomery announces historic racketeering indictment. That's the article. And it was all over the news. A year-long investigation into Eastern State Tammany Parish of heroin and crystal meth ring known as the Team We has culminated in the indictment of 20 suspects. Montgomery called news conference for the steps of the St. Tammany Parish Justice Center to announcement of the indictment of 20 people, 17 of whom are charged with racketeering in what he described as one of the largest such cases in parish history. Montgomery and St. Tammany Parish Sheriff Randy Smith said the arrests were the result of a multi-agency investigation that included the FBI, the Sheriff's Office, the DA's office, and the Seidel and Pearl River Police Departments. We operate in Seidel and Pearl, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. They said that most members of the group are known to each other and worked as an organization with varying roles, including suppliers, distributors, and enforcers. Now he's going to get out anyways next year. In about a year. What do you think? Do you think they should have granted? I mean, they did. It was weird. In the prior hearing, they're like, Mr. Kelsey's not listening to anything he says. He says, you just need substance abuse programs. But he's like, I don't ever had an addiction. Why do you want me to take programs? It's just, but Mr. Kelsey, that's kind of his style, or he just didn't believe him that he never used. And then he goes and he does what he's supposed to do. And they're just like, no, not getting it anyways. How do you feel? Anyways, help the channel reach 100,000 subs. And with that, I'll let you go.